Good morning to all of our viewers around the world. It's a brand new day on iBrand Daybreak. Now, it sounds like I'm dropping bars, isn't it? Now, welcome to the show today. My name is Bennett Joseph, and I have my beautiful co-host here, Margaret Okwara, with me. Margaret, how are you?
Good morning, Bennett.
Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks.
You know, I always say it's a pleasure to always anchor. I don't feel worthy to anchor a show.
Now, this is hype. We call it hype or hypo or whichever. But thank you so much, Bennett. How do you do?
I feel good. I just feel like the rains are here, you know.
Yes,
so for people like us who are not so friendly with the cold, so we need to keep ourselves warm, hot tea, duvet at home, those kinds of things.
And just keep yourself safe. Also, keep yourself warm, keep yourself safe from the COVID-19.
Yeah.
You know, it's still on, and now people think it's over, but then you have to
absolutely. I think it's time we even reiterate that to our audience. COVID-19 is real. So please, whatever you do,
protocols,
keep yourself safe. All right, on the show today, we have the news updates, newspaper review, the Tweet Central. We have a guest coming up later on to flesh up a topical issue. We also have sports updates with Jidechi Chidieze and lots of other interesting segments that you do not want to miss. Let's go on a short break now. When we return, we'll bring you the news updates. Stay with us. We'll be right back. You're watching iBrand Daybreak on iBrandTV, and we're streaming live on YouTube. Don't forget, you can also leave your comments for us on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram. Now we bring you the news update. The Pan-African Yoruba Social, Cultural, and Political Organization, Afenifere, has also berated President Muhammadu Buhari over his statement that the attack on the Benue State Governor, Samuel Otom, should not be politicized. Afenifere leader Ayo Adebanjo said this in a statement to sympathize with the governor over the attack on his life over the weekend. He asked the president to desist from pretending that he is not aware of the perpetrators of most of the killings in the country as witnessed in recent time.
Now, also the police state command in Benue State has arrested 3 fishermen in connection with last Saturday's attack on the Benue State Governor Samuel Otom. Security advisor to Otom, Colonel Paul Hemba, confirmed the arrest while conducting newsmen around the scene of the attack on Tuesday. Hemba stated the police team found the fishermen close to the attack and are currently investigating them.
Now, at least 3 persons have been killed after bandits attacked Ugwanla village in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. According to the state's Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, the incident occurred in the early hours of Monday. He explained that the bandits initially attempted to barricade the road along where the attack took place, but were repelled by troops and vigilante protocols. The commissioner stated that the bandits retreated to their camp.
And business news. The Department of Petroleum Resource in Yola has sealed off 16 filling stations for violating regulations relating to pump pricing and product diversion in Adamawa State. Operations Controller in charge of Yola Field Office, Sadiq Ibrahim, stressed that the erring marketers were caught during the monitoring exercise. Ibrahim said their offenses ranged from selling above government official pump price, shortfall in supply, lack of price and facilities and safety facilities compliance, and diversion of petroleum products.
Now on the foreign scene, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, is predicted to fall short of securing the seats needed to form a new government in Israel's 4th election in 2 years, according to exit polls. Netanyahu whose party and its allies are projected to win 52 or 53 seats in the 120 seats required. Parties opposed to the Prime Minister staying in office look set to win 60 of the required votes. It means that even with the support of the Nationalist Party, Netanyahu would not have a majority. Now that's our news update at this hour. We go on a short break now, and when we return, we look at the top stories on the national dailies. Stay with us, we'll be right back. You're still tuned into iBrand Daybreak on iBrandTV, and don't forget we're streaming live on YouTube, and you can leave your comments for us on all social media platforms, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. Now, joining us for the newspaper review segment is Dr. Dayo Kayode, a public affairs analyst. He joins us now. Dr. Dayo, it's a pleasure to have you on the program.
Yeah, my pleasure being here, but next time is political technocrat.
Oh, great.
There's a difference between a political technocrat and public affairs analyst.
Oh, would you like to make us understand the difference, actually?
Yeah, I will let you know, because you see, as a technocrat, you go deeper in explanation and understanding of issues. You even go beyond public affairs, even into private affairs.
It's interesting to know that.
You know, and that is why sometimes when you listen to my analysis, the way I put them forward is quite different from the way others put theirs forward.
Oh, I didn't just have to delve into the papers.
We are excited to know that we have someone with such depth to help us put the issues on the dailies in context. Now, let's begin with The Guardian, Dr. Dyer. The leading story says, Finance Ministry, CBN deny move to liberalize the forex market. Now, at the top corner of The Guardian, legislative workers strike nationwide for financial autonomy. Also on The Guardian, Dangote Cement to pay 97 billion naira in corporate tax for 2020. Gunmen kill 3 policemen at Abia checkpoint, steal 2 rifles. Only justice can stop secession threats. Fayemi, Sani, others tell FG. Now at the base of The Guardian, rising insecurity may stop 2023 election, says Governor of Benue State Samuel Otom.
All right, now let's move to the Punch newspaper. The leading story here says, Autumn visits Buhari. Governor says 2023 polls under threat. And also at the top of the paper says we are expecting 84 million AstraZeneca vaccine doses this year, coming from the Vice President of Nigeria. And also the federal government begins process for concession of 12 highways. Details of this is on page 19 of the Punch newspaper. Beneath the paper says, controversy surrounds apprentices' death in custody over businessman's missing 14 million naira goods. And also, we are working to rule Nigeria for at least 32 years, coming from the APC party. And also, the NBA protesters, magistrate orders lawyer handcuffed jails counsel for contempt. Here are some of the stories on the Punch newspaper.
And on The Nation, the ex-military chief, troops lack proper arms to fight. That's the leading story on The Nation. On the top corner of The Nation, APC will rule for 32 years, says Buni. That's on page 4 of The Nation. Autonomy, workers shut houses of assembly. That's on page 5 of The Nation. And still on the top corner of The Nation, Zenith retains Nigeria's Best Bank Award. Why we allowed hijab in Kwara schools by governor. Those are some of the stories on The Nation. All
right, moving on to Nigerian Tribune. The major story here says Nigeria lost $5.7 billion to short concession PPP project, coming from the reps. And the writer of the story says records $90.5 million loss yearly from Lagos airports. More details on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. And also at the left corner of it says insecurity may settle 2023 poll, coming from the Benue State Governor. Details on page 27. And beneath the paper says Obaseki demolished ex-governors 2 others' houses in Benin. Details on page 29 of the Nigerian Tribune. And just above the paper says Bajabi Amila accepts chief's petition rejected by Deputy Speaker. And also, Akeredolu spoke for himself. Akintoye-led group says. Details of these on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. So we have some of the stories in the national dailies today.
Yeah,
Right,
Dr.
yeah.
Dyer. Now let's begin the review with this story at the top corner of the nation. So the governor of Kwara State is saying why we allowed hijab in Kwara schools by governor. Now, I wonder what his reasons are actually, when we read that story and he highlighted or the possible reasons, but let's still talk about that conversation on the use of hijab in some of the missionary schools in Kwara State and how the conversation seems to be snowballing into a bigger interreligious crisis. Are you still concerned about the fact that the state government has not been able to manage that conversation?
Actually, it's not a missionary schools. It's Islamic schools, Muslim schools. In Christian schools, they're not using hijab. But for me, I don't know why we always put religion, all this primordial thinking, into our things in this part of the world. Whether somebody wears hijab or he doesn't wear hijab, does it add to the quality of education she's going to have? I don't think hijab should be what we should be looking at now. Rather, the quality of education given to those kids. We need not politicize everything. We need not to. In those days, whereby we have a secondary school student passing out, then we're using Form 5 or so, Form 5, yeah. You see that person discussing as a university graduate. But what do we have today? The standard of education has lowered abysmally. Must we now be talking of hijab instead of us to look at what is it that has gone wrong in terms of our education? What are the kind of education that children are being given in those days? Why are we not giving it out again today? In those days, you finish your primary school, some will go to technical school, some will go to modern school for about, I think, 1 or 2 years or so, before now moving to secondary school. And you can see the way they write, the way they compose, everything about them, brilliant. Unlike these days, why can't we divert our energy to improving standard of education rather than hijab or no hijab?
Now, the challenge is that a lot of persons feel that Nigeria is a highly religious state where issues around religion always tend to spark a lot of controversy. Now, the challenge is now some of those missionary schools, we have some adherents of Islam who also want to attend such schools or are attending such schools already. And they have a concern that, the management of such missionary schools are saying that well, if you have to be a part of our school, we would not allow the use of hijab, which is the controversy that is currently playing out in Kwara State, where some of those missionary schools have now been locked, although some of those missionary schools are getting grants from the government, and maybe that gives the government some kind of leverage to weigh in on the conversation.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. We need not to put all these religious connotations into our educational system. Even the parents, there was a problem some times ago in this school, international school, Ibadan, University of Ibadan, is on this same hijab or no hijab. How come? When did we degenerate to this level? When? At what point? I really don't know. That hijab is now becoming something that we should be discussing about. With the myriads of problems that we have, is hijab that will solve it? Even those children that are wearing hijab, go and check them out in school. Whereby we don't have morals again in schools. You see them now taking drugs. You see all sort of delinquent behavioral pattern. Is it hijab that will solve it? We shouldn't allow this one to cripple into our educational system. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Then parents too should leave out religion from their education. In those days, you go to CSC primary school, you go to CSC secondary school, you go to Awaru Islam. There is this Awaru Islam in Dokpemu. In those days, you don't see anybody there putting on hijab. You don't even see them saying that they want to go to the mosque by 12. No.
All right.
Because they are there to study.
Okay, I know you have a lot of things to say about it, but we don't have the leisure of time to take all of this. But nevertheless, we have another segment that would interest you, and you have more time to discuss these issues. So
Thank you very much, Dr. Dyer, for your perspectives.
Right.
Now, let's take a short break, and when we return, we will discuss the role of non-state actors in tackling insecurity in Nigeria. We'll be right back. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attahiru, has declared that his team will soon move against separatist agitators such as Sunday Igboho and Asari Dokubo. Igboho had unilaterally declared that the southwest part of the country was no longer part of Nigeria. Dokubo had also announced the establishment of Biafra customary government, in which he incorporated some of the perspectives of the southeast and the south to form an ideology and form a new territory as part of the Biafra region. The Chief of Army Staff said in his statement, "The Nigerian Army, under my watch, remains resolute and is poised more than ever to decisively deal with individuals or groups that threaten the peace, security, and stability of our great nation." We still have Dr. Dayo Kayode, a political technocrat, in the studio with us to weigh in on the conversation. Dr. Dayo, it's a pleasure. Thank you for staying with us.
Thank you for staying with us. Okay. So
now let's analyze this conversation where the Chief of Army Staff is coming out to say, well, we're ready for those who are calling for secession. You know, we have Sunday Igboho in the southwest, we have Nnamdi Kanu in the east. Now we have Asari Dokubo who has joined in the conversation. Now, all of this call for separation, what is the root cause?
You see, for me, let me start with this foundation. For me, I strongly believe in one Nigeria. I strongly believe in one indivisible Nigeria, but where justice, equity, and fair play is being allowed. All right? There must be justice, there must be equity, and there must be fair play. That is the Nigeria I was born into, and that is the Nigeria I will prefer to live in.
What happened to that Nigeria you were born into?
Now, along the line, leaders, when I say leaders, I mean leaders in all ramifications, they became greedy, hedonistic, and highly profligatic in all their behavioral patterns. All they are looking for is how to line their pockets. And to that extent, it now led to a big gap as regarding trust between those leaders and the led.
Trust between the leaders
yes,
and the led.
And the led. Mistrust. Nobody is trusting anybody again. 1. 2. Some people are now trying to see that, look, this country belongs to us and not that part of the country. All right? What am I saying? They are doing all this just because of self-aggrandizement. Okay? The moment all those things are within a society, there's now bound to be unrest, civil disobedience, and tendencies of separatism.
But it is believed that if the country is separated by the south, the east, and all of this separation, it's believed that all of this justice and peace you mentioned earlier would be incorporated into the system. Do you share in that ideology?
Now, it is also a pity that those people that are saying, let everybody go his own way, they are not looking deeply into also that society, the new society they are about to create, that if that one should happen, in fact, the problems will be more compounded than what we are seeing now. Like I always tell people, I was with somebody, I think over the weekend, I said, when somebody is having headache, the solution is not for you to cut off the head. The solution to headache is not cutting off the head. So rather, you are compounding the problem.
Are you confirming that Nigeria is sick at the moment?
Definitely, Nigeria is sick, but it can be cured.
But
by what?
With sincerity.
Oh.
I will stop with sincerity. For instance,
sincerity from
the leaderships. When I say leaderships, both political, both cultural, both religious, economic, everybody, the leaders, every one of them.
But you don't think
it's not that somebody will now be saying, look, if a leader should tell you, yes, I bought my third jet while COVID was at its peak, I will look, for goodness sake, how did you get that money? How did you get that money? I'll be looking at you. I won't trust you again. That means you have done something, call it somewhere. Okay? If you're also telling me that you want to come and control my own father's house, that you want to come and control my own father's house without my consent, I will still not trust you.
But Dr. Daya, don't you think, you mentioned the leader, don't you think the being led has a role to play? Now, you said there's a mistrust between the leadership and those that are being led. So now we're talking about the leaders aside, but the people
that are being led.
Yes.
And that's why I said, the leaders, they're now using the lead against themselves. And unfortunately, they have, to a very large extent, pauperized the lead to the extent that mostly a larger percentage of the lead have lost their sense of understanding. Let me give you an instance. There's this politician in Europe who said, you guys, you know how you're going to be controlling these people? He said, no. Okay, I'll show you. Go and bring me a live chicken. A live chicken. Healthy live chicken. Put it down. All right? Now, he now ask somebody, pull out one of the feathers. Let me pull out just one string of your hair and then tell me how you will feel. Just one strand of the hair on this your hand and tell me how you will feel. Now, they started pulling it one after the other until they finished pulling out the whole feathers on that chicken. How do you think that chicken will be? It won't be able to fight again. It won't have any energy. He said, okay, watch. He threw one corn on the floor. The chicken quickly took it. As they were going, they were dropping one, and the chicken was following. Okay, and that is what has been done to us. They have taken education away. They have taken our standard of living away. They have taken power away. They have taken everything away. If they should take light now, here, you see how everybody say, bah! Let them bring, hey, help NEPA. For 5 minutes, for 2 hours in a day. People will be saying, NEPA tried to do. They gave us 2 hours light. I mean, light should be having for 24 hours. But they have already conditioned your mind to having that 2 hours. instead of 24 hours.
Apparently, Nigerians have become victims of circumstance, and we understand that it's because of the developing insecurity issues. That's why most individuals are now calling for separate regions.
But that's not this, that would be the solution. The solution is for us as a people to be determined.
Okay.
Let us go back to the basics, whereby the norms and values will be respected as it was of old.
Now, we'll talk about that in the next segment of our conversation. Thank you so much, Dr. Dyer, for your perspective.
Thank you, Dr. Dyer.
Now, let's have a short break, and when we return, there's still many more interesting segments for us to delve into. We'll be right back. You're still watching iBrand Daybreak on iBrandTV. We're streaming live on YouTube, and of course, you can join in on the conversation on all of our social media platforms, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook at iBrandTV. Now, up next is sports updates with Jidechi Chidieze. Jidechi, what do you have for us?
Yes, thank you very much, Obin. We're still counting down to the one that involves the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and of course, the teams that we will be lining up against. That is Benin Republic and Lesotho. It's barely 2 days to the one against Benin Republic, our 5th AFCON qualifying match. And the camp of Super Eagles is bubbling as I speak. 23 players in camp at the moment. The only player who we are still expecting at this point is that man who has been in imperious form so far, so good for Leicester City. That's Kelechi Iheanacho. That's the only person that is not in camp as we speak. About 23 players so far. They had their first training section yesterday, and it was, I can tell you, it was quite the exciting one. The players were all in smiles, and they've been trying to get themselves fit for that one. That'll be going on later on Friday, right there, the country of Benin Republic. And when they are done with that one, we would be talking about the game between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and then Lesotho. Yes, that one that involved Benin Republic. We likely get to see home-based players who are lining up for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Eyimba have a duo of John Noble and, of course, John Noble, actually the goalkeeper of Eyimba. We expect to see him when he squares for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But the big question now is if the coach of Super Eagles of Nigeria, that's Genotro, would be playing Noble ahead of Maduko Okoye, who is currently the #1 of the Super Eagles, or Francis Uzo, that's the other goalkeeper of the Super Eagles. But let's see how it pans out. Friday is not far away, and when Friday approaches, we get to see what the Super Eagles have in store for us. And moving over from that one, we also have the story of Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Yes, the former boxing champion Mike Tyson, he's talking tough, and he's saying he's not expecting Anthony Joshua to win that one between Joshua and Fury. He's putting his money on Fury, saying Fury might surprise Joshua in that one. But why not we wait and see how that one will be panning out? There are no dates yet for that one. We are still waiting on Eddie Hearn, who has been giving us a neat bits of that big fight that we're expecting between Joshua and Fury. We are still waiting on him for the date and the venue for that big fight. But as it stands right now, it's already looking like the vote is going to Tyson Fury. Back to you, Joshua and Bennett.
Now, I think my money is on Anthony Joshua, actually. But then let's talk about the Super Eagles. Do you think there's an equal balance of foreign-based players and our local players who play here in the local league in the Super Eagles squad?
Well, I would say the coach has made it evidently clear that he prefers foreign-based players to the locally based players, but always give them a chance to come feature for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. For someone who made it obviously clear that he prefers foreign-based players, we can definitely expect to see more foreign-based players in the Super Eagles of Nigeria than the locally based players. But let's see how it pans out this time around. If he would give a chance to the locally based players, the likes of Eyimba's duo and Abia Warriors defender who are in the team right now, let's see if he'll give them a chance when they square off against Benin Republic.
I look forward to seeing how they play against Lesotho. I'm optimistic that they would deliver their best. And of course, our best wishes to the Super Eagles. Now, let's take a short break. And when we return, we have another very big conversation around seeming reports that says Leah Sharibu, part of the Dapchi schoolgirls kidnapped by the Boko Haram sect in 2018, may have had a second baby in the custody of Boko Haram. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots. That's what happened.
Really? Let's go to my place for dinner.
This fufu is so nice.
It's through unripe plantain flour.
True unripe plantain flour is delicious.
Yes, true unripe plantain flour is what I serve my husband for swallows. It's easy to prepare, fortified with vitamin A, low in sugar and cholesterol, rich in fiber that helps the heart, builds and strengthens the bone, and his energy level is boosted.
Through unripe plantain flour, no additives, 100% natural, a product of Pali Agro Products Nigeria. Through unripe plantain flour, available in all leading stores.
You go enter market, just make you go buy fresh palm fruits. When you reach house, you go walk, you go pound, your body go dey pain you, even your fingernails go dey pain you. But make una no worry, make una relax. I get good news for una. Una don hear of Banga fresh palm fruit extract. All you need to do na make you go for the up, open am. Take the amount wey you want, put am for your pot. Which soup you wan make? Shey na egusi, shey na ogbono, shey na vegetable, shey na banga. My sister no waste time again. My brother no waste time again. Just go buy Banga fresh palm fruit extract. They go know say you sabi cook and you be better cook.
Banga, make your food yummy yum.
Distributors needed nationwide. Phone number 081-6397-4447, 080-3564-4436, 070-6663-8213. Banga Fresh Palm. Now, in a rather sad development, 3 years and 5 weeks after the abduction in Dapchi, Yobe State, Leah Sharibu is still in the custody of the Boko Haram sect, and reports say that she may have had her second baby in the custody of Boko Haram. Recall that Leah was among the 110 girls aged between 11 and 19 years who were abducted by the terrorists from Government Girls Science and Technical College Dapchi on February 19, 2018. Leah, still held in captivity, was forced to accept Islam before being married off to a top Boko Haram commander after she refused to renounce her Christian faith. This recent news and development about her has triggered a lot of sentiment on social media, leading to one of the top hashtags on Twitter. Free Leah Sharibu is currently one of the top trends on Twitter at the moment. Dr. Dyer.
Dr. Dyer, thank you for staying with us.
A pleasure.
You know, reading through the story, it made me feel really bad. Of course, there's lots of reactions from Nigerians, Christians, Muslims, all over the country. But for 3 years and few months, she's been in custody in this captivity, and other school children, and they haven't been able to be rescued. What do you think is wrong with our military intelligence? Do we still have one in this country?
While I sympathize with the parents of Leah Sharibu, because only God knows what's going to be going on in their mind now. But then, to look at Leah Sharibu, I want to hashtag it as incompetence and dereliction of duty on the part of our government. Incompetence and I repeat, and dereliction of duty. Because the Constitution made me to understand that one of the paramount functions of the president, the Constitution is sworn to uphold, is to protect the citizens of this country and ensure that everybody, young, old, male and female, can carry out their businesses in a safety environment. Why incompetence and dereliction of duty now? I will explain. My brother, if your phone is missing today, all you need to do is take your pack, the pack of that phone, and go to the police station. They will tell you the room where they are using that phone. That is where technology has been to in this country. Because sometimes some people are talking that we don't have technology. I said, no, we have it. They only deploy that technology where they know it will serve them, it will serve their purpose. Whenever it's not serving their purpose, they won't deploy it. How did they know that this girl has delivered the second baby?
I think it was first of all put in the news by Sahara reporters.
That's what I'm saying. Even posted. How can they tell me now that today they don't know where that lady is? With the technology that we have in this country?
You believe they do?
You know how much money they always give to Niger Comsat every year? Go and check your budget. We have Niger Comsat. You know their function. Don't they have satellite in the orbit?
Oh, I don't know.
They have satellite in the orbit. Don't they have drones? Look at, oh my goodness, look at Americans. These are people that are serious minded. One American was abducted, not even in Nigeria here, from another country, but brought to our country where they know that, where they think they can have safety, where they know that anything goes. They left where they know that they can easily be arrested. They came here. And that guy there said, look, go after that, warn America. I warned that man in the next 12 hours. Did they not get that person? Huh? So why can't we do that?
But maybe,
are they having two heads?
Maybe the reason why we can't do that is somehow related to what we have as the top story on The Nation, where the ex-military chief says troops lack proper arms to fight.
Why would they not? Why would they have proper arms and ammunitions to fight when it is from $1.5 billion gate to another $1 billion gate? You see what I'm saying? You see what I talked about all the time about their hedonistic tendencies. The money they are supposed to deploy to a particular activity, you will not. Where is that money? Let them show us that money. But even aside from that, we still have those equipments that we can use to dictate where Sharibo is. Our satellite in the orbit, what is it supposed to be doing? The drones, the acquired drones, what are they supposed to be doing? DSS, they're out there. They have used our tax to send so many of them on training.
So you don't believe
to collect on how to gather information.
So you don't believe the Nigerian army is underarmed to fight terrorism in Nigeria?
What happened to this guy? What's his name again? Retired brigadier Kuti. That said it the other time, and he was court-martialed. He said, you can't be sending us to meet all these guys without equipment. Kuti said it. That was about 3 years ago or so. I think it was Femi Falana, SAN.
Who intervened?
That intervened then. I could, yes.
Okay, Doctor.
Do you understand? So these are issues.
Okay, Dr. The image, the northern Nigeria has been on the news lately, and not just for a while now, for really, really terrible incidents. It's been in the news for negative reasons. Now, do you think the image of northern Nigeria and Nigeria as a country can be redeemed, especially in the eyes of foreigners who would want to come into Nigeria for these security reasons?
Now, You know, I said something the other time. Insincerity. We have been insincere with ourselves. And unfortunately, even the media has not helped matters in saying the truth. Baraje, you know him, who led the new PDP to APC, addressed a press conference some time ago. You remember? When he said he personally warned them not to bring in mercenaries, not to bring in fighters to this country for election purposes. That because at the end of the day, when the chips are down, they will not be able to contain it. Abi Baraje said it. Have we gone to Baraje to ask further questions? Has the media gone to him to ask further questions? Melaifa, I always that former CBN deputy governor also said the same thing at a press conference. Have we gone to him? Rather, the DSS quizzed him, and he was released, I think, after a few hours or so. Madam Taraba also said something similar to that. But look, if you don't stop talking to me anyhow, I will speak beans about what is behind Chibok girls, isn't it? Have we gone to her to ask further questions to get the truth out of it? So that means the legbe that is dancing on top of water, something is underneath that water, drumming for it. Do you understand? These people, these bandits are not just here. There are some people that are, one, feeding from it, number two, that are sponsoring them. And that is why till today, none of them has been arrested or prosecuted or punished. As you are, you should misbehave on this set. God forbid bad thing. You should misbehave on this set. If your director refuse to remove you, that means he's supporting you. If the MD refuse to query the director, that means that MD is also supporting you.
Maybe they are trying to give me some chance to improve.
That is what we call complicity. Because today you spoil the program, tomorrow you spoil the program, next tomorrow, then that means they themselves, they are incompetent.
So you're saying that the presidency was complacent and...
Amapo even said it. Amapo said it. He said because the presidency, he even mentioned the president's name, has refused to arrest, prosecute, and punish somebody. He said that means he is an accomplice.
Now let's hope that with the change of service chiefs, maybe we can begin to...
Listen, I also told you, I think some times ago, that let the service chief be changed 1,001 times. If the president, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, refuses to change his philosophy about security in this country, it will be the same thing. They have been changed, and we are still seeing the same thing.
It's a pleasure to always have you on the show, Dr. Zayo. We look forward to have you again.
Anytime.
It's always interesting to have your perspective on this conversation. You leave us better informed. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, now let's take a short break, and when we return, we will have our Tweet Central, where we bring you the top stories trending on the streets of Twitter. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Many thanks for staying with us. This is still iBrand Daybreak, and Twitter has been bubbling with a lot of stories, tweets, and all around Twitter, reactions have been flying left, right, and center. But now we'll take a look at some of these tweets that have been making... Well, I call it
I'm always very excited to see the tweets. I'm always very excited.
Yeah, I know this one about this Tyler Perry's movie, Acrimony. It's a lot of persons are saying the argument about Acrimony will never end, and the movie is messed up. You know, have you seen Acrimony?
Yeah, Tyler Perry.
Like, you don't know, at some point, it's like the rising, it's rising, it drops and rises again, and you're like, when is it ending? And he threw everyone off guard. I think it's about how many years now, and the movie is still in the hearts of a lot of people. And someone saying you don't really know who is right in Acrimony, you don't know who is wrong in Acrimony, you just know at some point the lady was right, at some point the man had an issue too.
Let me tell you what someone said on Twitter. The person said, I've watched Acrimony 10 times. I blamed the girl for 4 times. I blamed the guy 4 times, and I blamed myself 2 times for watching the movie.
And someone said, okay, he tweeted and said, I thought my marriage was going smoothly until I saw my wife watching Acrimony for the 12th time in 3 days. And so someone said he even doesn't blame anybody. He blames Tyler Perry for putting up that kind of movie for her. But it was an amazing movie.
Amazing.
It taught me a lot.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It depends on how you want to see it. But I'm not really out for who is at fault. I'm just out for what I have to learn from the movie Acrimony. And also, the difference between Naira and dollar is trending on Twitter. We know Naira today. Naira is here, tomorrow dollar is here, and it's been up and down. And chicken catcher, wow! So the names we have on
crazy
Twitter
names
is amazing.
Twitter, yeah.
Chicken catcher says the difference between Naira and dollar is wide. That even if you earn 1 Naira per day, you will still have $1 after a year. Well, that's quite devastating. That's sad for it to be coming from. And I'm sure most of these people are outside the country, and they are so glad to have left Nigeria. You know, for a currency that used to be at par with the dollar, and now it's become a shadow of itself. It's sad. Well, we just hope that one of the days, 1 Naira will be equal to $1, as they promised us, you know. There's no harm in believing. All right, then Dangote Refinery is also Dangote rather is trending on Twitter. David, who then is tweeted and said Dangote cement directly worsens Nigerians' housing deficit of at least 1 million units because it's so expensive. This directly depresses the construction industry, which is an employer of labor. So 10,000 jobs and Dangote Group, over hundreds of thousands he destroyed. And also Sam Clef is a popular musician. He tweeted and said, what has Dangote created, not giving back that it's visible aside of its tankers killing people and giving the families 500,000 naira. Now, you talked about David Hunde. David Hunde is my very good friend. I didn't pronounce that well. Yeah. He's been on one of my shows where we talked about recession and all that. So he's very particular about what Dangote is giving back to society. You know, a lot of people talk about Dangote alongside capitalism, and the idea of capitalism is that you're supposed to solve a problem. So a lot of people feel like Bill Gates is solving the problem with Microsoft, Jeff Bezos is solving the problem with Amazon, but what's Dangote solving? You know, you have a monopoly on cement, and then we have a huge housing deficit that and makes it expensive. Well, we have a lot of tweets to give to you, but sadly we just have to wrap up the show. Yes, but we leave you with this amazing quote from Nelson Mandela, who said, "It always seems impossible until it is done." So it always seems impossible until it is done. So do it today, and you realize it's not impossible. That's very possible. Yeah. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Bennett. I like that. Quotable quote, one of my favorite parts. I look forward to what you have to say. Make me feel believe you are a motivational. I inspire you. You are to aspire. To aspire and respire and all the fires. But thank you so much for joining us. Please do well to join us tomorrow, same time. Don't miss anyone. My name is Bernard Joseph. My name is Margaret Opara. Bye for now. See you next time.